everybody, we're here with Manny Perez. Soga 3 comes out next week, December 12th, here in the United States. It's already out in the Dominican Republic. First of all, it is the #1 film in the Dominican Republic right now. What what has been the reaction, and what have you heard from people who have watched it already in the Dominican Republic?
Well, yeah, no. First of all, thank you for having me again, and it's always great to chat with you. The reaction has been just people love what the film is about. I think it's a film that deals with everyday issues that they have to live by or live with, and they're just sick of it. So to show it on the big screen is refreshing to them, because they're basically, they want the world to know what they're going through, and that's, I think that's a plus for a film to have that element to bring awareness to the world.
Yeah, exactly. And you've done such a great job on this franchise, because it really does tie, like, each series of films seems to tie into the other, brings more action, more adventure. The writing gets even better as we're going along. What is it about when you developed the story and just decided to expand on it? What was it that just, like, it feels like a passion project for you?
Well, it's crazy. I consider this character as my alter ego. I feel like this is Manny way. Like, this is what Manny wants to say in his real life, but he can't.
Yeah.
Just because I'm an actor. But I use this character to sort of say the things that everybody wants to say in the island, that are sick of the corruption that are happening around them. So so that's why I used. Plus, the character is such a complex character. Is a man that is, who wants to live a peaceful life, but his past won't let him, and his surrounding won't let him. And he's the guy that he consider himself the law and order in his world. And I think there's something about that I actually appreciate.
Yeah, and in this one, I don't want to give too much away because it's every minute he gives something away. But in this one, it seems like he finds there's a piece to it too.
Exactly.
And I'm giving it away, but you see the development of the character now, and it's like a piece, and that's what I found, like something like he finally finds something in this film.
There is hope. I feel like at the end there is hope, but the question is, he has a price to pay, and not to give too much about the ending, but there's a price to pay for what he's done, but there's still hope in his life. So that's the beauty of the character. It's very complex, but there's a heart in this man. The other day someone asked me, "Hey, is he the villain or the lead?" And I was like, "No, I mean, I think he's the villain, but he does things that a lead character would do."
Well, he's an anti-hero.
Exactly.
Perfect example. He's an anti-hero. He's done bad, but yet the bad that he's doing is also good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one thing I do want to talk about, your cinematographer on this film did an amazing job. There's scenes in there where I was just pulled in. Please tell us about it, choosing him and working with him, because he did an amazing job on this film.
Yeah, no, his name is Joseph Rodriguez. He's amazing. He's, this is his second film. His first film was La Soga Salvation. Yeah. He's a guy that I met through a friend. He's done a lot of shorts, basically in Dominican Republic. But I fell in love with all his shorts. They were very different, and he has a little style to him that I love. And I was like, man, I need to talk to this guy. So when I spoke to him, he understood my writing. And I'm like, hey, let's do La Soga Salvation, which we did. And then after that, I was like, well, this is the guy that I want to work with for the rest of my life. We just understand each other. And it's hard to find that in a DP, someone that understands your language, that understands what you want, that when we talk about samples of what I want to do, he's like, oh, I got it, this. And he gives you that. And that's beautiful.
Yeah, and from what I saw last year to what I saw in this year's with La Soga 3, I was like, you could see a development in it that just blew my mind. There's shot selections that I was just like, that's interesting. I've never seen anybody in a film like this ever think of a shot selection like that. And
Yeah,
that's really cool.
it's great. Again, it was us. The more we got to know each other, the more we just get along, and we understood each other's vibe, which adds to what you're seeing on the screen.
Yeah, exactly. And the one thing I do want to touch about, you really do, we want to get into those controversial topics that are going on in the Dominican Republic. I mean, the government corruption, children being trafficked. How hard is it for you to write and tell these stories? Especially, I mean, your experience, it's your experience and really bringing it out and what's going on in the country. But how hard is it sometimes to tell the as truthful as possible and to bring it out on the screen, but yet realizing that it is a movie, it's an action movie, and we gotta kind of like make it play off forcefully.
Exactly. Well, you know what's funny? It's a great question. There's risk to making a film. There's risk to making anything, especially a film. But in regards to the elements that I chose for this film, I felt like the country again they're just sick and tired of the same bullshit that they're being fed. So I feel like as a filmmaker, I got to take a risk. I got to do this because that's my passion. I got to do it. I invested my own money in it. I wrote it. So it's more like, and mind you, when it came out in the DR, I did had politicians reach out to me telling me, hey, you need to tone this down. And I'm like, no, man, this is my movie, my money. I'm going to continue. And at the end of the day, they just got to live with it. They just basically say, okay, let him go, let him do what he has to do. And yeah, in a way I am afraid, but in a way I'm like, man, this is my passion. So, and I feel like that's what filmmakers are about. I feel like you got to stand on something and believe on it and go with it. I feel like if you try to sugarcoat what you're shooting, at the end of the day, the result's not going to be worth watching or worth seeing or worth even talking about.
Yeah. And that's why, like, I wanted to ask that question, being somebody who's writing his first film right now. And it's the stereo and what the topic is and the subject matter could sometimes be, I even wonder, do we go full and what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling on the writing? And that's why I wanted to ask the question, because I think as a writer of film, sometimes you question, do you want to go completely full with what the story is, or do you want to like hold back some parts and
well, I mean, my advice, and again, I'm not a writer. I'm mostly an actor than anything else. But I believe that the best scripts that I've read are scripts where you're like, man, this director, this writer doesn't give a fuck. He's going all out, and those are the scripts that move me to be part of. Yeah. So that's a plus. And I feel like as a writer, you should definitely go that route and make it your own, make it special. If you try to if you try to tone it down, it becomes like every other script out there where it just get boring.
Yeah. And that's why I say your script is so well done, because it really translates off the screen. It pulls you in from beginning to end, and you really have a heartfelt emotions.
Thank you.
In all of it. And I love the film. I think it's going to do great here in the United States as well. And we're looking forward to hearing what everybody thinks about it next week when it's released on it's going to be on VOD, right? Exclusively, or is it going to be playing at some theaters?
No theaters. Basically all just video on demand and streaming and on basically the problem, the reason why we're not doing the theaters is just because all the money they're investing in renting theaters, they're going to sort of put it into the marketing behind the streaming, which is great, and also the good thing about what you're seeing in this film is that what's happening in this film, yes, it was shot in Dominican Republic, but it's still, that's happening in third world countries. I mean, third world countries have the same problems that we're having in the DR.
Yeah, and that's why I had to ask, because I would love to see this movie in a big screen with that surround sound, because I can only imagine what it'd be like to see it on a big screen. So
Well, we actually yesterday we had our premiere here in New York, and we had it at United Palace, which is like huge screen. Wow, it was. I was like, wow, this is what it feels like. This is what this film should feel like, and it was such a beautiful emotional moment for me to see it in such powerful screen and surrounded by this amazing sound.
Yeah, well, Manny, thank you so much for stopping with us again.
Thank
I
you.
really like this film. I think you're doing a great job on this series, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you have next, and what's coming in the future, because you're such a great actor in these type of roles. You're a great writer in this, and your direction is just fantastic. Thank you so much for stopping with us. I really
Thank you
appreciate
so
it.
much.
No problem.
Appreciate it. Thank you.